Everything good? All right, so this is my first seminar, guys. I've been coaching on and off for a while, but I recently just started coaching about, what, 3 weeks? About 3 weeks ago. As of today, I have about 40 people that have either requested or I have coached, and the numbers keep growing. Currently, it's free, so if, want a one-on-one session, just hit me up. A little bit about me. I've been playing since Season 2, thousands of games. I've played pretty much ranked 5s since I started playing in Season 2. And I was like the leader of the team pretty much. And with that, I was always a shot caller. By being a shot caller, I got a lot of, experience and learned a lot about the macro gameplay, especially from playing because when I started, my team was silver, and as the years went on, the team I was with peaked at D3 when I was with them, and that's where I left the team after that. But I played against challenger teams, I played against semi-pro teams, I played against some like famous streamers when they're playing ranked 5s, like Gosu, shit like that. But I've learned a lot as I've gone on, and I think a very important thing to note is the win condition and what the win condition is. Most people don't even consider or even know what a win condition is, and that's why I decided to do it as my very first seminar, because it's unique. It's something, when I was signing up, it says do something unique, and I didn't want to do a seminar that people already talk about or people already know about, so I decided to do on something that isn't talked about. If you look it up, there's maybe 3 or 4 videos I think that I found about win conditions. Everything else is pretty much, there's nothing. There isn't really nothing. The only other time you ever hear win conditions being talked about is when you're watching pro games and Jet or Kobe or Rivington. That's where they discuss them pre-game. And there's really not a reason to not apply this knowledge about win conditions into your ranked solo queue games. Because that's how it is. Basically, the way League works is that you have a probability of winning. You have a chance. You have a chance of winning. If you look at low skill and looking at in-game, it'll, based off statistical value, it'll say this team has a 53% chance of winning. This team has a 47%, just based off statistics. So why do you not want to, increase that lead by playing to the strength of your team? So what we're going to be going over is what a win condition is. We're just going to make it cut and dry. We're going to try and get down to the basics of it. And with that, we're also going to talk about what I call the universal rule of 2. Super simple. Everybody knows it. Just nobody thinks of it, and nobody applies the simplistic idea of the universal rule of 2. We're also going to talk about, I call it TIPRA, T-I-P-R-A. It's the 5-step rule.
I sometimes sit in my room in the dark and cry. It seems that there may be no hope for me. My favorite streamer young_Deedle refuses to mod me, feels badman. It appears the stream, like League of Legends, is pay to win.
Thank you for the donation. I'm sorry, guys. Let me close Twitch alerts so that doesn't happen again. My 5-step process that I use is TIPRA. It's T-I-P-R-A. We'll go through each step and what you guys can be doing in applying this step. Was that by Sneak Mouse? Is that the one who? Yeah, thank you, Sneak Mouse. Then we're going to talk about some variables throughout the course about how the win condition is a very flexible win condition, how there's multiple win conditions, about how win conditions just change and shift from role to role, and the mini win conditions. And we're gonna, that includes people, your team comps, and as well as your champion. In the midst of it, we're gonna do some group exercises. So if you guys are in Discord, try and disperse yourselves among, if you want to participate, be in the groups 1 through 5. If you want to idly listen, maybe talk and chat as I'm discussing, or in the Q&A, being through 7 or 6 through 10. If you need the Discord link, I'll post it again right now. But we're just a little group exercises as we go. And then role win conditions, which consist of what each individual champion and role consist of and what they need to be doing throughout the game. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with what a win condition is. So what exactly is a win condition? I've never heard of it. I'm a bronze 3 player. I don't think about this. All I really think about is micromechanics because that's what everybody talks about. That's what I need to learn. That's false. If you want to improve, increase your knowledge. Knowledge is everything in League. I full-heartedly believe that. And we're going to start by simply saying that the win condition is a series of steps and objectives that increase your team's probability of winning. Okay? It doesn't mean that if you play to the win condition every game that you're going to win. But if you play to the win condition of your team every game, your chances and your team's chance and probability of winning increases. Okay? And that's what's important because you want to make sure that throughout the game that if you're playing to like a 60% win probability, that's better than a 40%. 55 is better than 45%. 51 is better than 49. So if you're just slightly keeping it up, your probability is just going to keep going up. Okay? If you're 10k ahead, that's like 92 to like an 8% chance of winning. So if you're playing to the strengths, then that's what it is. These steps, objectives, variables, there's too many of them to count. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to lay everything out. What I'm here to do is show you how you can look at each step, how you can try and identify what you need to individually do to bring a group of 5 random players together for one sole purpose, and that's winning, and that's playing to your team. Okay, a lot of knowing what a win condition is comes from knowing a lot about League. Okay, and we're gonna go over that. So basically, if you don't have a good grasp of League, you don't know what said champion does. You don't know the power spikes of Tristana, or you don't know, you're playing top lane and they pick York. You never seen a York, you never even heard of York because that champion hasn't really existed over the past 4 years. Well, in my very first process would be that in Champ Select you use your time wisely. Okay, and with that, we're going to talk about the universal rule too. So a universal rule is pretty much a constant in League. League has so many rules, laws, mechanics that are always the same no matter what. Flash, for example, is a universal rule. You can only flash from distance A to B. That's the range. You can't go past that. You can't, flash smaller than what it allows you to do. It is a constant in every single game. So whether that's, having 10 champions at the start of a game, that's a universal rule. Unless you're playing 3v3, don't, sidestep me on this. But that's a universal rule. Universal rules do not change whatsoever. So what's the universal rule to? Most simplistic thing I'm going to say tonight, but you guys don't grasp this. The universal rule 2 is 2 ways of losing. 1, surrendering, and 2, your nexus. So why is this important? Like, you guys are like, I probably know this. Well, if those are the 2 only ways you can win or lose a game, then why are you not controlling it? If you surrender, that's your control of giving up on the game. The game doesn't actually lose until your nexus explodes. Okay? This applies to win condition because if your win condition is a late game, team comp 45 minutes plus, 40 minutes plus, and you're down 10, 15k gold at the 25-minute mark, that doesn't mean you lose, okay? That just means you're behind. You're not up to your win condition yet. You're not past that, okay? You're not there. So why are you surrendering? Why are you losing control? Because you have the control of the outcome of your nexus and surrendering. Even if your top laner goes 0-6, you're still in control of the game, believe it or not, okay? And if you lose, that's still on you, okay? Now, Tipra, what we're going to be talking about is my own little system that I pretty much go by. The first one is T. It stands for teammate reliability, and we're going to get into all of this. The second one is identifying the win condition. The third is pronouncing the main objective. Okay. The fourth is role win conditions. And the fifth, and the only one we will not be talking about, is adapting accordingly. because this is a very basic and introductory course, this seminar. If we get good feedback and people want to learn more about win conditions, etc., I will do another course about the advanced aspects of win conditions. But since a majority of our, congregation here is bronze through gold, I want to keep it to at a level where it's easy to understand and I'm not blasting you with all this information, okay? So adapting, we're going to push out the window right now. We're just going to focus on T, the I, the P, and the R. That's what we're here today to focus on. So the first one is teammate reliability. What is it? So teammate reliability, people in general, it's the teammates versus your enemies, okay? Like I said earlier, Champ Select is a tool that you guys must be using. Okay, you have 4 to 6 minutes to basically pick a champion based off their team, to ban a champion if you're top 3, to talk with your team about what you should be playing, but most important, to be researching your team, your teammates. Okay, as soon as you join the game, what you should be doing is going into op.gg. Okay, going into the multi-search section, which is at the top, and putting in everybody's names. So why is this important? Okay, it's the reliability formula. You need to make sure that your teammates are in a reliable position, because if they're not in a reliable position, then you can't really trust them, okay? First is champion experience. The champions that they pick, let's say you got a top laner, okay, we'll say Quinn. What if this guy that you didn't know, he's picked top. This is dynamic queue now. People have the choice to pick 2 roles that they play. It isn't cut and dry like in the last system. It's not fully reliable because someone like me, I made support. Okay, I did this the other day. If I go into a ranked game and I put top and mid because I feel like playing it, doesn't mean I'm good at top and mid. It just means I want to play it. And this is very frequent in bronze through gold. People pick what they want to play. They pick what's fun. They don't pick what they're good at. Some people do, and that's how you climb. But some people pick simply what they want to play. Oh, I just unlocked Alawi. I'm going to try a first time ranked top. Picks top lane, never played Alawi, doesn't play top lane at all, and ends up feeding. And what's the... You didn't realize this before by not looking at them? Okay. Blumpin, my elo right now is D4. I'm around D3 right now. I'm at D4, but I should be able to get to D3 back this week. So that... The reliability formula is looking at the champion experience they have, the role experience. Are they in the role that they have? Okay, if you have an ADC main on your team who has like 400 games on ADC, I bet you they can play almost every ADC there because they're all pretty much the same thing. If you got a mid laner that plays mid laner a lot, they're pretty reliable because they should be able to know the matchups. Are they a one-trick pony? A couple weeks ago, me and my friend, we were smurfing. I was supporting, he was ADC. We had an Elise who was really, really good in our game and played the game phenomenally. All right, and we're like, oh, okay, she's good. We're gonna add her. So we added her, wanted to triple Q with her. Ended up feeding the next 3 games. Didn't realize why, and we didn't really look at her past games to notice that she's lost 18 or it was like 18 or something like that in a row, and to realize that she's a one-trick pony, only plays Elise and has like 200 games on Elise and only had like a 46% win rate. So if I knew that, I wouldn't have invited her to play with me because obviously if you play a champion 200 games and have a losing win rate, you're not doing something right. And if you're a one-trick pony and still losing, you're definitely just not going to be climbing. So don't be looking at normal, Charlie. Good question. Do you want to look at rank data or do you want to look at normals as well? If you're looking at normals, now, that's why I say past games, okay? Because let's say you have a guy who plays Bard, okay? Hasn't played a single rank, Bard rank game. He made support, hasn't played a single Bard rank game, but then you go and look at his past games, and he's got like 15 to 18 games of Bard. Okay, he might not be the most reliable person because he's still kind of new to Bard. He's only played 15 to 18 games, but he's not brand new, okay? That means he's decently reliable. He knows support. He's played the role, so he should know how to roam and ward. He at least has decent experience, so that means he's somewhat reliable. This really translates to junglers and supports, mainly, okay, for this teammate reliability. ADCs as well. Top and mid, you guys are the solo lanes, so this isn't as applicable to you, but jungle, this will tell you who to gank for, especially on the enemy team. If the enemy top laner has 7 game, losses, that's where you gank them. Okay, they're on a tilting spree. If someone averages 6 deaths a game as an ADC, you punish them because that means their positioning's not right or they're getting caught out a lot. So this is what you check for. Okay, you look at the KDAs, you look at the roles, you look at the champion, and you look at their past games. That's what you guys do. What do you do if you find that out in lobby? So finding all this out in lobby, you just transition it. So let's say, for example, I'm a support main. Okay, I know my mid laner averages 6 deaths a game. In games typically now last 20 to 30 minutes. That 6 deaths is a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and I notice my ADC averages like 3 deaths a game, plays like Caitlyn or some champion like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my mid lane has considerable vision on the buy side of the jungle because that is what I control. So I'll make sure I have my bush up by red, pinked. I'll make sure that I have the river going into mid warded so that she at least has vision in an area that I can control because I want to be able to control her deaths by lowering them by making the probability of her being caught out lower. Okay, like as in my Elise sucks. What do? You do what you can, okay? You're not going to be able to control the outcome of every single person who plays a game, okay? If you notice that your top laner doesn't play top lane all that well, like I said, when I played like that Quinn who plays, or Alawi that played one game top lane, that means you don't rely on them. You don't try and match, like, let's say you're playing bot lane. You don't try and match their TP to her TP because I guarantee if she TPs, she's just going to die because she doesn't know what she's doing, okay? You don't ask for that. You let the minions push into you in that kind of situation or you push into them so that you're not offering a TP, play for either side because she's probably only going to TP reactively to the other TP. So you're going to let the minions push into you. Does that make sense? Junglers, like I said, this is a very good tool to use because that's going to tell you who to gank for, who's very reliable, okay? Secondly, we're going to look at the identifying the win conditions. Now, like I said, this is going to be very, very basic. So once we have a good understanding of how everyone is on our team, we're going to be looking at what does all this mean? Well, we're going to look at what our team composition does. Okay, win conditions is a very broad term. I believe Monte Cristo is the one who came up with it. Typically, it's the thought process of 5v5, the win condition of these 5 players and the win condition of these 5 players. Okay, and that boils down to 3 main team comps. We have split pushing, team fighting, and sieging. Split pushing is the is probably one of the least common, especially in ranked. But if it does, it's going to be from the top lane. So at this game like this, you got Tryndamere. His main objective is to be split pushing, creating pressure. Okay, that's his job. It's having a Jax or Zed. These champions go into the sideline basically, and most commonly it's going to be bottom because you're pressuring for Baron, right? And what they're doing is they're creating pressure by being able to 1v1 and outscale their opponent. So take it the Nautilus versus the Tryndamere in this example right here. The Tryndamere is going to lose this matchup early. Okay, he doesn't have TP. So what you can notice right off the bat of the game, and what me and my team notice, is he doesn't have TP. He doesn't plan on grouping. He plans on being literally top or bot the entire game. That is his. That's their team comp. That is their win condition. Tryndamere, in his mind, has already decided that he is going to be pushing a side lane completely the entire game. So reactively, what my Volibear did is he camped top lane. He made sure that Tryndamere wouldn't get to a point where he can effectively control him. Okay, control Nautilus. So he ganked him continuously. I think we got 3 or 4 kills on Tryndamere, but it's Tryndamere. Tryndamere, Jax, Zed, champions like that are still going to be, increasing by, going over and scaling past Nautilus. Because he doesn't leave the lane. Nautilus is going to be grouping in this mid game. He's going to be trying to make plays and use the CC, but Tryndamere is just going to be solo pushing, and that's why he's level 17 and Nautilus is 15. Even though Tryndamere was shut down And we held out through the mid game because of this. Tryndamere is still sticking true to his guns and split pushing top. Okay. So the most obvious champion with this is Shen. If you guys know, Shen split pushes consistently, uses his ult or TP advantage. Thank you, Witty, for that. So that's one of them. Pressuring either one, like 4 top, 1 bottom, or keeping it like a 1-3-1 situation, having it like a Zed and a Jax or something like that. They're keeping pressure in all lanes. Secondly, and probably the most common, is team fighting. Team fighting compositions are the most flashy. Everybody wants to watch a team fight comp. And they want to, watching LCS or anything like that, that's what they want to watch. It's the most common, and I think it's the most effective way to win in teamfight. Typically, statistically speaking, if your team has more CC than the other, you have a slightly higher chance of winning. It's been proven. But for this game example, I even have the goal to, the match history to show you. What happened is our Eve got destroyed. Okay, got absolutely shat on by this Nidalee. She was 7-0 by 16 minutes. She had Rod, boots, upgraded boots, and her jungle item all fully completed at 16 minutes. She was 7-0 in 3, just destroying the game. We were down, I'm pretty sure, gold the entire game, but that wasn't our win condition. Their win condition right now, they have Yasuo. He's going to be split pushing. They have Nidalee. She's putting early game pressure, and if she gets, Syndra ahead, they can pretty much one-shot our entire team. Okay, with excellent DPS and sustainability with Nami. So their goal is to force a 4v1 and poke effectively with Nidalee, have Syndra get a kill by using her burst, and have Yasuo be just off to the side. He didn't bring a TP, okay? Our win condition, if you look, we have Wukong ult, we have Eve ult, we have hook potential, we have charm potential, and we have a very kiteable ADC to get away from any gap closing that these guys have. So what we want to do is we want to fight. That's what we rely on. We rely on waiting, fighting, getting a pick, and forcing. That is what we heavily rely on. And team fighting comps typically have strong engages. They typically have more CC. They have AoE damage. That's what it amounts to. I played this game the other day, and let me see here. And this was the outcome. Let it load. Their blue team, we're red team. So the entire game, they were up about 8k, 8 to 9k for a majority of the game. Even here, Lucian almost got a pentakill, and they got Baron. And this is where, I said earlier, universal rule of 2. Only way you can really lose is by losing your Nexus. So we didn't even, by the end of the game, we didn't even have a gold lead. We still lost. Yeah, I mean, we won without a gold lead. But we stuck true to our guns, and we focused on engages by having myself and Wukong coming through and creating opportunities to get a 5-man, 5v5, even when they had buffs. They had 4 dragon controls. We had 1 dragon, 8 towers. They were in control the entire game, but we stuck true to our win condition and didn't surrender, and we came out with a win. That's pretty much cut and dry. That's what happened. Because at a certain point, each team is better than the other team at something else. Yasuo is better at split pushing than Wukong. Wukong is better than team fighting than Yasuo. Ahri is a heavy engager and has reliable DPS over Syndra, who is a burst champion. Okay, Ezreal can kite. Lucian can kite. Kind of the same thing, but Ezreal, going blue build, has a lot more kiteability. A lot easier to have as a backline. So you got to look at the pros and cons of each champion and weigh them together and what they're doing. Okay. Thirdly, we have sieging. Sieging is the least common. This game was played last Sunday. The Cloud9 game, Sunday. Sieging comps, these were pretty common in Season 2 and 3, back when ADCs were, super strong. And I think, was it Season 4 or Season 5 when Varus was really big in the mid lane? Last season? Yeah, so this was played the other day. They're not that common in solo queue, But basically, what sieging comps are relying on is being able to poke, get kills, and force objectives without having to really do anything. They're just using their long range abilities, long range harass to force objectives. Typically, they don't even need to get a kill. If they, like, for instance, if Varus and Jhin got Sivir and LeBlanc down to, a little less than half health, they would just have to back off because they can't stay because Gragas, Trundle, Morgana, they're going to force a fight. So they rely on typically long poke, we have with Varus and Jhin, and then long range CC abilities. So you have Lux, you have Morgana, you got Zyra Root, you got things that can reach one or multiple enemies from a safe distance. If anybody remembers Season 2, Season 3 Nidalee, sure you've suffered the pain getting hit by a spear and dying one shot. That's typically what sieging comps do and what they rely on. And it's not too common right now, but they're pretty brutal to play against. The only really way to counter a sieging team is to force engage, which TIP didn't have, and that's why they lost. Their team just was insurmountable in every way against C9's team because they have no engage, they have no reliable DPS, and that's pretty much what happened in that game. So how do you identify these win conditions from lobby? Because if you keep in mind those three, that's all you really need to do, is keep those three in mind. Because I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not getting into the advanced, win conditions or anything like that. Just keep in mind those three because those are typically, across the board going to have the same kind of general views and ideas through solo queue. So you got to look, what does my team possess that the other team doesn't possess? Make a quick pros and cons list as your team. And I understand that some of you guys in bronze don't understand what all champions do. That's fine, okay? It's not anything like that. But what you want to try and do is, if there's a champion that you don't really know, use that champ select time to quickly look up the champion that they picked. Try and get an idea of what they do. Do they have CC? Do they have damage? Do they build tanky? Look at the build path, or the tank, damage, CC. Look what they got. And try and apply that to the best. Look what role they're playing, okay? Are they playing, Rek'Sai in the jungle? You've never seen Rek'Sai. Well, does she build tanky? What does she do? Just look it up. You have 5 to 6 minutes to do this every single game. So when you get in the game, there shouldn't be a single point where you're like, I don't know what they do. Look it up. LoL Wiki is a great tool to use. These are the common factors that you guys are going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at, do they have engage? If they have engage, crowd control, any AoE abilities, it's typically a team fight comp. Okay, if Wukong possesses all three of those and just 3 abilities. His E and his ult, he does damage, knocks everybody up, and it's AoE. It's AoE CC damage. Like he perfect. If you see Wukong, it's going to be a team fight typically. Sejuani, another great example. Engage, crowd control, AoE. Harass long range. So that's where you got your Blitzcrank. That's where you got your Morgana. Look to see what these teams have in common, or at least champions, because you don't even have to look at a full team of 5 and say, they're probably going for a team fight comp. Well, yeah, that's where they're stronger at, but where are they weaker at? So if a team fight comp, is stronger in the team fight, that means they're going to be grouping as much as possible. So push the side lanes, If they pick Wukong top, pick something that can deal with Wukong. Something that can consistently keep him from having to TP. Tryndamere, Tryndamere might not do great in lane against him, but Tryndamere can make sure that if he does group, he's going to get punished for it. So that's where you guys want to keep looking. Skirmishers, global pressure, wave clear, Shen, Yasuo, Zed. Typically these 1v1 champions that can take you out in an instant. Jax. Jax is a monster. If you see a Jax, he's going to build 2 ways. He's either going to build tanky and try and group, or he's going to build damage and just split push. If you see like a Gwynsos and then like a Sterix Gauge, Titanic Hydra build, like one after the other, I guarantee that boy is not grouping. He is just trying to get as much wave clear as possible and push and take your towers. So try and look for these outlying factors, okay? these are just, like I said, generalized basic factors. So I want what you guys to do is I want you guys to look at what champions bring what to the table. What do they bring in unison? Okay, if they have a Sejuani and Wukong, they're going to be colliding. That is a global. That is a fucking massive team fighting team. So what I'm going to be doing is, let me get my Discord. If you guys could move, if group 2, a couple of you could go down to like group 3 and a couple to group 4. I'm going to be posting a couple links here. And we'll give it, 2 minutes each. And what I want is I want you guys to talk about which team does better at what, and we'll talk through it together. Okay? My picture is in the way of words. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I still have my picture up. I'm sorry. Good call. Good catch. Thank you. Video capture device there. Most recent. Yeah, we'll talk through it together, guys. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, guys. So first group we are going to be discussing is, let me get the links here. So group 1. Group 1, this is going to be your guys. And I'm putting in Discord. Group 1. And I'll put these up on the main screen so we could all talk about it as well. Just talk together, guys. Group 3. If you guys aren't in Discord, don't worry. We're still going to be going over it collectively. Group 4. All right, so group 1. This is what we have. So like I said, we're keeping it basic. Where are you doing this activity? We are doing this. Good call. Good chat. Nice to see you, Charlie. Let me get you the link here. Feel free to join in on the discussion. There's the Discord for you. So basically, I'm going to come to each group, and I want you guys to tell me a little bit about who's top and left side. As far as Spirit Catalyst, you are overly... Oh, Heck Room. Sorry, I got these from I got these from the LPL. So let me get here. You guys there? Oh, wait. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys? All right. So what do you guys see in group 1? What is team, A have over team B, and what does team B have over team A?
Team A is a protect the mid lane and AD comp. It's to protect the carries.
Right, exactly. So where's their power spike in this, if you know the champions?
Okay.
If you know the champions, okay, we'll say Corki. Anytime that teams usually pick Corki and Lucian, Corki in general, Corki or Ezreal mid, they're going to be based off when they get Triforce, or if they play Ezreal, that's going to be based off when they get Manamune. When he gets Triforce,
yes,
that's when they're going to start grouping. And then, like you said, it's completely protect the two, from the other team.
It's to protect the people who can get you the win.
Exactly.
But on Team B, they're wanting to counter the engage. They have Thresh to hook somebody to stop the engage. They have Poppy stand aside, basically, to stop Rek'Sai from dashing in with their tunnel.
And they have good AoE damage as well.
From Victor and Misfortune.
Exactly.
With the Victor on the Misfortune-y.
So they're countering this protect the carry comp by taking champions to stop any engage, and picking champions like Quinn and not Quinn, Kindred and Poppy, who can get to the backline to disrupt them, as well as picking Misfortune and Victor to do damage on the backline from a safe distance. If Misfortune is able to get an ult off, she's still going to be able to damage all 5 of them.
Okay, and does Misfortune's ult constantly re-trigger her passive on a different target each time?
I have no
I've
idea.
always
I think
wondered
so.
that.
I think so. I'm not a Misfortune player. I haven't played her in like 2 years, to be honest with you.
I've played her some, but I didn't know if maybe you'd seen it in a ranked game or not.
I haven't seen Misfortune in probably a year, to be honest.
That's crazy. She's a bronze climber.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen her. But yeah, that's correct. So in this situation, team, A, it's all about playing around when Lucian gets his items and Corki gets his items, and that's what they're going to be focused on. Team B, they're focused on stopping that and forcing engaged fights while protecting, Misfortune and Victor. Even if they, like, Victor or Misfortune dies, they still have plenty of damage with Kindred and Poppy, who it's pretty much just a counter.
Yeah, and I mean in LCK this morning on Jin. Oh wait, no, it was SKT, I believe. It was either SKT or Jin. They took a Poppy into the top lane, and Poppy set up the final fight, basically.
Exactly. So good job, guys. I'm going to group 2. Hey, Jessica, Sauce,
What's up?
Rakta. Okay, what do you guys see in this team comp here, in team A and team B?
I mean, I don't really know too many other champions, but all
Okay.
I really know is that like Lissandra ult.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sauce Boss.
Now, and like we're looking so good.
So Team A is a protect the Triss comp / engage.
Right.
Lissandra and Elise have a lot of pick potential. Kind of like Lulu as well because of her Q.
Mm-hmm.
And then they use Braum and Lulu to help peel for Tristana.
All right. And what is Team B looking to do? Team A is looking, like you said, to group. They're going to use their heavy engage and heavy CC to like hold down 1 or 2 people, and Tristana gets free damage. Team B, what are they looking to do? Okay. Team B, picking the Trundle. Trundle is going to not allow Lissandra from grouping with the team because he's going to be consistently split pushing, okay? Now, Rek'Sai, the reason why they picked Rek'Sai is to apply global pressure so that even if he isn't there to group, like let's say you have Ali, Lucian, Corki mid, okay? Trundle is going to be pushing the side, like top side, we'll say. Rek'Sai is going to be pushing mid or getting an objective, and he's going to be ulting back into the team if a team fight ensues, or they're just going to be trying to keep the waves pushed, okay? So this is where you would have a slight split pushing comp versus a engage comp, okay? So Team A is looking to constantly fight and group as 5. Team B is looking to not let that happen and keep map pressure by forcing the side lanes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so pretty much if you're on Team A, you're trying to catch someone out or you're trying to force a fight. And if you're on Team B, you're just trying really hard not to fight.
Right. Because which team has more CC?
Team A.
Yeah, by a long shot. So that's what they're looking to do. Team B doesn't want to fight that at all. Like, they would just lose. And pretty much any way. So they're looking to keep their map pressure by split pushing, and that's their win condition. Their win condition is to not let that happen. Team Ace is to push. Good job, guys. Rich AJ, what's going on, man?
Hey.
And so, what do you see in Group A or Team A on Group 3?
I'm mainly seeing a lot of pick potential, mainly from the Nautilus, the Elise, and maybe the Bard.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you see from Team B?
Seeing a few AoE and like disengage spells that can really help protect the Vayne and still have good team fight.
Right. So this is where it's going to come down. I picked this one because they're kind of the same, okay? Team A and Team B both rely a lot on team fighting, right? But the catch is, where are their carries placed? Team A's carry is pretty much placed on Ryze, okay? Sivir is more of a utility carry. She doesn't super hard carry. Vayne hard carries. So Team A is looking to push through the team fight, while Team B is looking to kite backwards. Okay. And that's why they have the Gragas, because the Gragas barrel, they have the Gragas body slam, they have Maokai to sit basically on top of Vayne, and they have Braum. So they're going to be kiting backwards in their team fight. Team A is going to be kiting forwards. They have Bard engage, Bard going through walls. They have Sivir engage. They got, Rise speed buff. They got Nautilus. So this is where you're going to look at two team comps and saying, okay, the win conditions are pretty much the same. We're going to be fighting the same style, but we want to make sure we're fighting the fights correctly. They're wanting to push up. We're wanting to push back. So if we're pushing up and they're pushing back, that's just not going to really collide. So if we kite backwards, Team B, they have a bigger advantage because they don't have to close the gap. They're creating bigger gaps. If they're the ones to engage, they're probably going to not win the fight if Vayne gets caught out, okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Group 4. Who's on this? What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hello. So, what do you guys see on Group A? Or Team A?
I mean, they have a lot of catch-up potential with Thresh, Lux, Lee Sin, Hecarim especially, if they find one target.
Oh, wrong team. That's Group 5.
Oh.
Ripperino.
wait.
Group 4.
Oh, wait. Yeah, crap.
We'll wait for you. We'll wait for you. We got you. Anybody else from Group 4?
Bet you got a lot of ability. Disengage.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does Team B have?
They have a nice mid-game power spike, which scales into late game with the Gangplank. They have a nice team fight where they can catch somebody, burst down a target.
Exactly. So Team B is looking to fight, right? Team A is looking to play around their carries. So if Team A pretty much just doesn't want a mid-game power spike to happen, so this is where they're probably going to play pretty aggressive in the early game, and then kind of hold off on the mid game and wait till late game, till Ezreal gets a couple items and Lucian gets a couple items, and Poppy and Poppy and Rek'Sai are tanky enough. So this one is played around power spikes. So you got two carries who scale pretty well, are decent early, and they scale pretty well with two tanks. And then you have Team B that just wants to pretty much not force anything until late game when Gangplank does ton of damage, and then have Ahri and Corki do everything else. Okay. So they're both team fighting comps, but Gangplank is probably going to be split pushing until mid game. So he's going to be applying pressure and getting towers that way, and trying to accumulate gold by using his ult Golbly. So that's where he would start to group once he gets 3 or 4 assists, has a little bit of a gold advantage over his opponent, Poppy, and then that's where he would start placing his barrels and getting a massive gold lead. Okay. All right, Glace. Did I say that right?
No, but it's fine. We don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Team A.
Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying before, a lot of pick potential with a lot of single target CC with Thresh, Lee Sin, and Lux especially.
Mm-hmm. And Team B?
Team B is definitely a team fight comp with Lissandra engage, Nautilus engage, Rek'Sai, and 2 80 carries.
Okay, so the win condition is, for Team B, definitely team fight. Team A, play around Hecarim engage if they can get it, or play off the picks from Lux and Thresh, right? So...
Yeah.
Are you... Okay, good job, guys. Scared me, Aaron, saying that. I was not ready for that. Okay, guys. So that's just pretty much the basis of identifying just basic general win conditions, okay? Now, how do you translate knowing this into a rank 5 game? Well, P is pronouncing the main objective. So if you have the tool to figure out what this typical strategy of a team is going to be in a solo queue game, based off, what they're playing, what the champs are, team reliability, like, are they good on the champion? Are they going to go off on the champion? Stuff like this. Tell your team, okay? Because they're not doing this shit. So I guarantee one of them is taking a shit after he picks his champion. It happens all the time. So they're not going to be thinking about this stuff. If someone's playing 8 to 10 games a day, and the first 2 games they might be thinking of something like this, but in the 7, 8, 9, 10th game, they're going to be playing pretty brainlessly. They're not going to be thinking about this stuff. So it's your job to inform them, okay? You need to keep informing them. So pronounce to your team at the beginning of the game the 3 important things. What's the main threat? What's your biggest weakness? What's their biggest strength that is going to be really impact your team, okay? It's really going to decimate your team. What's the main strength of your team? What do you guys want to do? And what's your plan? What are you going to do? It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out thing, and you don't want to be a dick. You don't want to say, hey, give Yi everything. He's going to carry the game. No, you want to just put it in 1 to 2 sentences at the start of the game. If they listen to it, fantastic. If they don't, oh well. But you know what? You're giving them a plan to follow. Okay? And more often than not, the person who steps up and is a nice person, consistently talks saying, hey, this is what we should be doing. If you make that assertion early on, they're going to follow you in the late game. Okay? If you're saying, hey, these are the steps that we need to be doing right now, and you do it, then they're going to follow you, when you call for Baron. They're going to follow you to Dragon. If your calls are wrong, that's, it's fine. You still at least have their, followership. It's just up to you to have confidence in yourself and your calls. So an example, something like I said the other day, they had an enemy Yi. We had, I think, a Gragas or something like that. So all I said, Yi's main threat. We don't want Yi to get ahead. He's pretty strong right now. So shut down Yi. Just keep Scuttles so he doesn't get that. And Scuttles drags and Rift so he doesn't get any extra, stacks on his Devourer. I'll just keep warding Dragon. It's my job. I should be doing it anyways. So I'm telling Gragas right off the bat, when Scuttle's not up, I'm going to have Drag warded. It's pretty much what I'm doing. And if we keep this game late, we have a Nasus and a Vayne who can push and win the game. So we don't need to be taking risks. We just need to play conservatively, and then Nasus will get stacks and Vayne hard carries. It's just that simple. Just pronounce to your team what you guys should be doing as a team, what you don't want to happen, and then what you are going to be doing to help that, okay? Because more often than not, Grog will be like, yeah, I'll make sure he doesn't get Rift if you keep Vision on Dragon. Okay, perfect. Now you guys just set up 2 guys that never met, just set up a perfect strategy to stopping the enemy team. Even if one person contributes to the talk, it's better than none. R is roll win conditions. Okay, now roll win conditions are something that I like to think of as 4 stages. So this goes for anyone that plays a specific role. Each champion, and it comes with experience of playing them, gets to, understand playing, one champion versus another. They get to know the strengths of one champion versus another. And that's where the mains come in. That's where you play 60 games, 75 games with one champion. You know these things. You know what to do. So make a plan. What are you going to do every game? If you're playing Lux mid or something, what are you going to be doing in laning phase? What are you going to be doing in the mid game? What are you going to be doing in the late game? What happens if you get behind? Have a plan, okay? These are your win conditions. Win conditions don't just translate to 5v5. They also translate to, one-on-one scenarios. They transition to what your role is. Okay? So here we have 2 totally different champions, Malphite, Jax. These are their win conditions. Malphite, he's just going to farm safely. He's going to trade with his QE combo when he gets the chance, if they engage on him, to try and win a trade. Mid-game, he's going to roam. He's going to ult when he can, force engages, TP bottom, flank mid right when he hits 6. That's his job. That's what he's going to be doing. Late game, he's going to keep forcing engages. He's going to stay grouped. He doesn't want to split push. He wants to be there for his team to provide the CC and the utility that he has, okay? If he gets behind, he's just going to sit and farm. And then he's going to roam when he can. If he loses top tower, he's going to freeze the wave, and then right when it gets pushed back into the enemy lane, he's going to go and group, because that is what he needs to do to get back into the game, okay? Jax, every time E is up, he's going to trade. When he hits, he's going to be very safe until 6, and then he's going to, every third auto, he's going to auto the enemy champion if he can. If not, he's going to pressure and force them off minions with that third auto. Mid game, he's going to keep pressuring top, and he's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep making sure that if Malphite goes to, flank mid or something like that, that top lane tower is going down. Late game, he's going to split push. He's going to make sure that he's bringing Malphite bottom so that they don't have an engage. He's going to 1v1 Malphite if he tries, to stop him. And if he doesn't, he's going to take tower or inhib. And if he gets behind, if Jax is 0-3, he's just going to power farm because eventually at 40 minutes, nobody can 1v1 really Jax. There's a couple champions that can, but not too many right now in the top lane matchup for this meta. So these are two totally different champions with totally different win conditions played differently. So have a plan, ask yourself these questions. What am I going to be doing to make sure that we win? Okay. Malphite, typically, his win condition when he's on a team is typically going to be team fighting. So what is he going to be doing in these phases of laning, mid, late to make sure that this team fight win condition happens? Jax, he's going to be split pushing. What is he going to be doing to make sure that his split pushing win condition happens? These are the questions that you guys have to ask yourself every single time. Najem, I will be uploading this to YouTube today, hopefully. So if you're just coming in, hopefully I'll have it uploaded, either today or tomorrow, and we'll be putting it, on Reddit or whatever. So we're gonna look at another win condition. We got mid lane. So we got Ahri, Lux, two totally different champions. Ahri, she's gonna continuously push that wave in with Q and auto, just to make sure that she can get the early level advantages and that she has an opportunity to roam if needed. Okay. She's going to harass with her abilities. She's going to, with that Ignite and that Charm combo, she's going to make sure that she puts pressure on them from missing CS. Lux, she's going to be safer. She's going to let the wave push to her so that she can safely get minions because she's a very immobile champion. Okay? But she's going to make sure that when she's CSing correctly, she's going to be getting off that damage on the enemy laner as well. Okay? Ahri, roaming very heavily in the mid game. When it's down, she gets that mid tower down, she's going to be making sure she's going bottom, she's going for drag, she's going for rift, she's going top. Okay? And that's where Ahris are going to be buying pinks, and they're going to be buying the red trinkets so that they can deny vision. So that if Lux tries to roam when she really shouldn't, she's going to get caught out and Lux is going to die. Okay? So Lux, to counteract this, if she loses tower early, per se, she's going to make sure she has defensive wards in her jungle so that she can safely go around if she needs to join her team. Okay? She's going to maintain that defensive vision control. And if Lux gets ahead, that's where she's going to push her advantage by keeping vision control offensively. So she can get the E, the bind, the E, the ult off, and just blow up one person just to force another objective. Late game, Ahri's going to try and assassinate, but try and, by using the geography of the map, going through walls with her, her spirit rush, and try and assassinate a carry. If she can't do that, then she's going to be peeling backwards and trying to just keep the DPS as alive as possible. Whereas Lux, she's just going to be grouped as a team, sit at the back, and try and get picks with the binding to, once again, try and get that 4v5 scenario. Behind, if Ahri gets behind, she's going to roam with the jungler. If she's got a farming jungler, she will not roam with them. If it's a Lee Sin, something like that, that's where her plan is to roam, try and get a kill or an assist, maybe one or two, and get herself back in the game, okay? And that's where she's going to continuously buy, have wards placed so that she can try and pick out Lux or an opposing mid laner or a carry support, just so that she can try and get back in the game through getting picks. Lux, she's just going to be sitting farming, okay? She's going to be attaining reliable farm by taking, the minions. She's going to take the Razor Beaks. I don't know why I put Raptors. And she's going to be taking the Wolves. She's just going to make sure that she stays put in a situation and gets the most reliable CS that she can. All right? So I want you guys, when you go into these games, that's what you're thinking of. You're thinking of, what am I going to do in each scenario? If I am doing good in lane, what I'm going to do in lane? What am I going to be doing in mid game? If it gets to late, what are we going to be doing? If I get behind, what am I going to be doing? If I get ahead, what am I going to be doing? Ask yourself these questions and have a plan prepared for when you go into the game. because that's your win condition, and you're only helping your team's win condition even more if you're prepared. Okay, if you're sitting there at the mid game and you're like, I don't know what to do. Well, you didn't think about it. You didn't think of what to be doing at that point in time, and that's why you're just hesitating, walking between mid and bottom without getting anything, okay? So ask yourself these questions, because that is where you improve. You don't improve by trying to have the best mechanics as possible. You improve by asking yourself what you should you be doing, and why are you not doing it, or why are you doing it. That is how you improve. You question yourself. Don't question the actions of others, question yourself. That is how you improve, and that is how you push for the win conditions. So in conclusion, the win condition used to be, like I said, it's not going to guarantee a win, but it enhances the probability of winning. If you use your time wisely in Champs Select, you'll get an ample amount of time to do research on champions, on matchups, on build paths, on your teammates, your players, finding out, KDAs, their champion experience, role experience, their past games. What are they most likely to be, at? Use your time. Use this to enhance your chances of winning, because that's all it is. All right. So utilize TIPRA. Remember, teammate reliability, identifying the win condition, pronounce the main objective, and role win conditions. Adapting accordingly, like I said, we'll have to talk at a later date if we still want to talk about it. No support role win condition. I'm not going to go over all of them. If you guys want, we can talk about them. I'm fully aware. I just time restraints, so I just decided to do 2. If we can go over the support, we can go over the ADC, we can go over the jungle. I don't care. I just want to make sure you guys are prepared. So, and lastly, converse with your friends and teammates when you're duo queuing, triple queuing, 5 manning. Converse with them about this. That way, hey, what is our plan? What do we want to do at this step of the game? What do we want to do? Do we want to focus dragons? Do we want to have pressure on Baron at mid game or late game? We have a Kog'Maw. Do we want to rush Baron, at the 20-minute mark once he gets his Ginsus and whatever? So, you guys, okay, so we can do a support one. So we'll say, let me bring up my notepad here. Give me 1 second to text back my girlfriend because she's been spamming me. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. All right, so we got support right here. Okay, so let's say we have a Janna, okay, over, who do you guys want as the next one? Report her for spamming. So we got Janna, and then who's another popular support? We'll say Thresh. Okay, so we got early, mid, late, behind. Okay, so in these situations, what Janna wants to do early is she wants to generate gold income with, is it Spell Thieves? Yeah, Spell Thieves. Okay, that's her main objective. Thresh, he wants to force the enemy team, or enemy bot lane, and Flay combo. So here you have Janna. She's going to be playing passively. She's going to continuously try and regenerate gold by using her spells and her autos to get that 8, 16, 24 gold with her Spell Thieves. Thresh, what he's going to be doing is he's probably going to bring Ignite. So he's going to be looking for these engages. He's going to be looking if you misstep. He's going to be trying to, flay you out of position, hook you. That's what he's going to be doing. That's his win condition, okay? Especially if you have a very passive laner like Janna, okay? So if Janna's going to overstep, she's going to be trying to generate gold income by, autoing when the ADC autos, or autoing when Thresh steps up to ward. Stuff like that. But Thresh, he wants to play it differently. He wants to play it aggressively. He doesn't care about trying to generate gold. He cares about trying to put the enemy team back, because he's a more aggressive support. So mid. So Janna is going to, she's going to control vision and follow carries. So she's, and this is support, so all supports are pretty much going to control vision, but Thresh, he's going to be more focused on ganking solo lanes and following with the jungler. Okay? So, and Janna, what she wants to do, her whole job is to protect the carries. Her passive gives move speed. So if she's walking with the ADC or mid laner, she's going to be walking to ward, walking to procure them from a sticky situation. She's going to make sure that they don't die in any situation as much as possible. Thresh, he don't give a shit. Thresh is going to be going mid or top, and he's going to be trying to get those, if their flashes down or if they, you have kill potential. He's going to be ganking these lanes. Spell Thieves, Charlie. Spell Thieves is the item, the blue item, the very first item that you get as a support. You guys might be buying coin. It's actually better to build Spell Thieves on Janna. So that's what you want to get. So it's the item. So if you auto or use an ability on an enemy champion, then you're generating 8 gold. So Thresh, like I said, he's going to be more aggressive. He's going to be using, his jungler with the lantern combo, the hook and the lantern combo to try and get advantages by taking out these people. Janna, she is going to be focused primarily on only on carries. Like, she is going to be keeping everybody alive as much as possible, and Thresh is going to be using as much CC as possible to control fights. So this is where it gets different. Janna is using all of her abilities to keep her carries alive. Thresh is using all of his abilities to disrupt and disperse the teamfight as much as possible. Okay? If you see Thresh roam mid, should you follow then or just stay? Good question. If you're playing Janna, per se, okay, and you see Thresh roam mid, you ping the shit out of it first, okay? And you either force for a 2v1 and pressure off their ADC from getting experience and gold, or you roam safely to mid lane to keep up with Thresh. Either one is fine. If you're behind, as Janna, you just want to play safe, play conservatively, and continue with vision. And as far as Thresh, you want to keep up the aggression and make plays. So these are two completely different supports with two different completely different play styles, doing two completely different things. Win conditions, different. Completely different. And they both have different goals that they need to be setting for this as they go on. And you can do this for any champion. You can look up guys if you even know your own champion, like you should know these things. What do you want to accomplish? By the 12-minute mark, what item do you want? How much CS, if you're an ADC, how much CS do you want? Okay? How much gold do you want by the 10-minute mark? By 10 minutes, 110 minions spawn. Your ADC, how many minions do you want? 90? You'll probably be up by like 20 or 30 then, if that's the case. So these are the goals that you guys want to set and keep up with yourself. Okay? Yeah, you don't make a shit ton of flashcards. That works too. But as far as that, guys, that's the conclusion of the seminar. I hope everybody's learned something. I hope everybody, is able to get something out of it. If there's any Q&A questions right now, now would be the time to ask so that I can answer them. I did have a question from earlier. Kind of weird question, but people always tell me not to grab an ability on Thresh until in lane. But I don't understand why, because getting hooked first feels useless as you lose opportunities. Okay, question by Fluffy is why taking hook first? Only if you invade. If you don't invade, take play. Now, the reason why you take hook, you don't wait until you take hook. You don't wait until 1 minute and 28 seconds, because it takes about 10 to 12 seconds for yeah, I got you, Smuggle. If they invade, then that hook is going to be more useful in that invade to either disrupt or stop the invade or to win the invade. And that's why you wait until the 1 minute 28 so that you can get flay, get up the auto, and then apply more damage on that buff. Okay. So that's why. Otherwise, take flay first always. So that was awesome. Can you make a win condition for jungle? Yeah, I can. Let's say you're leashing, or okay, here if they come for an invade or counter invade. Let's say you're leashing, or you decide to go for an invade because of vision reasons. Okay. First of all, guys, thanks for coming to the seminar. Before I answer any more questions, I don't know if this was pretty successful. I'll do another one based on what you guys would like me to have me do. Pretty much open to whatever. This is going to be put up on YouTube hopefully by tonight. Up to my guy whenever he gets to be able to do it. Otherwise, if you just coming in or haven't been able to watch it, check below, follow stream, follow, subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, yada yada, whatever. Give that whole spiel. Otherwise, we'll be posting it. I'll try and post it on the forum and Reddit, and we'll just see what happens. So yeah, but as far as making one for jungle, yeah, we can do that. Is there any junglers that you wanted for win conditions? That you were thinking of, Spirit? And speaking of that, I should probably put my Twitch on. Fluffy Hedgehog, thank you for the follow. Oh, by the way, Sneak Mouse, thank you for the donation. You dick. Wukong. Yeah, we can do Wukong. All right. So we got Wukong, and we'll say like Yi. Yi's very popular in like everything. Cool. So Wukong he's gonna be early clear. Okay. Oh, we got to early mid.
Thanks for the seminar. It was very informative and I feel like I learned a lot. Please do another one.
Awesome. Thank you. Who was that? Jessica. Thank you. Appreciate it, babe. Hope you learned a lot. All right. So Wukong, he's going to be first on his early clear and early gank. Yi, we're just going to literally put Power Farm. And then Dragon, Scuttle, Rift. Okay, I'm just going to write these down and then we'll go over them. No problem, guys. Thank you so much, Dante, Jessica. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'll make sure to put you guys in the donators. Focus. All right, mid game we got. Oh shit! I forgot it's gonna move that over. Okay, take early towers, and then wait, we're gonna be team fight. All right, so Wukong and Yi. It's pretty simple here. So Wukong, he's very reliant on getting his first clear, so he can get his level advantage. And then once he gets level 3, I think even some Wukongs, level 3, he is going to make sure he gets off that first gank, whether it's a flash, whatever, gets a kill. He's going to be really reluctant on going either top or mid after his first clear and trying to get that first kill, that first blood, because he has great damage early on. So that's what he is focused on early. He's really focused. If he gets invaded, he's pretty fucked. So that's where he's focused on getting his first clear done. He's a very gank heavy jungler. Yi's gonna power farm. He's gonna make sure he gets his first clear. He's gonna try and get his Devourer as quickly as possible. That's what his goal is. So he's just literally gonna have. If you're playing Yi, you should have a jungle route in mind. I don't know the best one, so please look it up. There's way more people who play Cowsep. Yeah, play Yi. So go watch one of them to see what the best jungle clear speed is for Yi. But that's what he's going to be doing. The reason why I take early towers for Wukong is that he's going to be forcing, 2v1 scenarios. Like if he ganks top, gets a kill or doesn't get a kill, he wants to make sure that he can force the team fight oriented, grouping stage as quickly as possible. So he's going to make sure that he can try and take towers early, because when towers die, that's when they start grouping. That's when everybody starts coming together and grouping. So if he gets these towers early, then that's where grouping happens. That's where he's best at. So that's where he wins. So if he can take, 2 towers by the 15-minute mark, team fights are going to be happening at Dragon. He has control of the game. If teams do group, then he's ahead. So he's going to be ulting, he's forcing, by taking these early towers, he's forcing these team fights. If he gets behind, he still has a wide, his ult is amazing. So he's going to be using, his engages smartly to get him back in the game, whether it's to catch out one person or to catch out 2 people or to win a team fight. He's just going to be, safe, but he's going to be smart and make sure he gets these engages off. Yi should have a cooldown on scuttles at all times. If you're playing Yi, he's going to be taking these scuttles as soon as they're up to enhance how many stacks he gets. Late game, he's going to be split pushing with his. He still goes Ginsu's Rageblade, right? Yeah, he still goes Ginsu. I haven't seen the Yi in a while. He goes Ginsu's, Dead Man's Play, whatever. He's going to be just split pushing it like a maniac. Now, if he gets behind in the early mid-game, he's going to be focused on getting his scuttles as much as possible. He's going to be focused on trying to farm up and get more gold than everybody else. That's what his goal is. So here you have a teamfight-oriented jungler and a split pushing. It all comes back to those 3 main win conditions: split pushing, team fighting, and sieging. That's where it mainly just comes back down to. Do you think win conditions change in 5v5 dynamic duo, 5v5 scenarios, dynamic duo, and how affect shot calling and such? Now, when you're talking about ranked teams, that's where it gets advanced, okay? That's where it gets to the point where you have to configure everyone as a conglomerate, where you guys want to be at, okay? I do think it's different. Now, if you're, duo queuing, like triple queuing, you guys want to focus on where you 3 want to be at what point in the game and group, and you guys can usually do that. But as a 5-man, it's completely different. And shot calling is insanely important for that. 5v5 scenarios, it's not so basic. It's more or less when and where to group. Like if you watch, LCS, their ranked games are nowhere near what your ranked games are like, and it's because it's all completely different at that kind of level. Just ranked in general is never, rank 5s in general is never the same. It's always going to be different. So I would say that, if it's ranked 5s, you definitely need a shot caller, and you guys definitely need to talk before you even go into Champ Select about what you want to accomplish before you even get there, and have a game plan for Champ Select, and then have a game plan for each individually, have a game plan like I've been doing for these champions, and then have a game plan as a team as well. Yeah, we can do one more for ADCs since we've done one for every role. Do ADC. So we got early. Oh wait, we got Jhin, Lucian, early, mid, late, behind. Oh. Early, mid, late, behind. Give me 1 second, guys. Just taking care of something real quick. Alright, so early game we got Jhin. He's going to be harassing and pushing the wave. Okay. So his whole objective is to basically harass by using his 4th auto and 4th auto. As much as possible on either the enemy ADC or the enemy support, and being able to get that auto off and W. Snuggle Pants, thank you for the kind words, man. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the support. That's all I can really say. I don't know, by the way, guys, if you guys review seminars or not. I don't know if that's the option, but if you do, review, that'd be awesome. I greatly appreciate it. Whenever that comes available on LoL-Coaching. As far as Lucian, what he wants to be doing is applying damage with his Q and passive. And Lucian is a little more lucrative. He can allow the wave to push back to him, but he can also aggress really easily because of his mobility with his dash. Jhin, he kind of wants to keep it pushed. That way he can deny the enemy pressure and experience goals such as that. Ractigino, I don't know. I don't know if you review the seminar or not. I have no clue. This is my first one. If you do, it would be on LoL-Coaching, but it wouldn't be available till 9 o'clock since they pushed it back, so you'd have to wait another hour to review it whenever. So you could probably check back tomorrow if it is an option, and do it that way. That's why. So Jin's mid game is pretty much the same as his late game. Okay, so you're gonna want to farm up, accumulate gold. I should put accumulate gold and use his W as follow-up. But more importantly, he wants to use, in late game, he wants to stay with team and kite backwards. If he gets behind, this is just ADCs in general. If ADCs get behind, they're going to pretty much always do the same thing, get all the gold. Pretty much. If you get behind as an ADC, the way to get back into the game is to get as much gold as possible. That's taking camps, that's taking farm, that's taking, pushing waves, freezing waves, stuff like that. That's how you pretty much get in the game as any ADC. So that's just a general rule. Now, if you're depending on matchups, let's say you're Vayne v like Caitlyn, and you're down like a kill, maybe like 15, 20 CS, you can still probably 1v1 the Caitlyn just by outplaying her. But that comes with, mechanics and experience on Vayne, etc. So it kind of depends on matchups as well if you're going to be aggressing. Welcome, Lilith. It's no problem. Just finishing up the seminar. So Lucian, what he wants to do is continuously push the wave in mid game and bot wave and group, because his mid game power spike is really, really strong. Whereas Jin's, it's more about later game. So Lucian wants to stay grouped with his team and force objectives and be present for dragons and team fights. Whereas Jhin is more about just, if gets a Q or gets something off on an enemy, he's using his W kind of as an engage because it roots them, where his team can follow up or he can follow up and they can get a catch and get a kill, and if they do get away, he can get a kill that way. Whereas late game, that's what he wants to do. And Lucian is more, I think, a more aggressive support EDC. And the term that he is very mobile with his cooldowns. So when the team fights he's kiting backwards, because that's typically what Jhin wants to do. Lucian wants to kind of aggress a little forward, just because he's got his AoE Q, his Q, where it can, proc on a couple people. He's got his double auto, get the double crit off. He's very mobile in the sense that he can push forward without getting, caught out so much. Whereas if Jhin pushes forward, he doesn't really have too much of an escape, so he's going to get caught out more so. So that would be the difference in how they want to play, respectively. Once again, it comes down to mechanics. ADC is probably the most general role in terms, because it's the most similar role in terms of champions and what they do. I'm just saying they're all pretty much the same. They all right click. All right. So there was one more question Remy posted earlier. What do you do if your performance in game tends to be good, positive KDA, high kill rate, but your win rate is not the highest? How can that translate for people who are reading these statistics or increase your own reliability? Okay, so let's say I'm playing Thresh, right? Let's say I have a 6.0 KDA over 30 games. Really good, right? But my win rate on Thresh is like a 40%. Why? Well, I would translate it as that he doesn't take his hooks. He doesn't go for the engages. He's a very conservative support. He plays Thresh just for the CC, okay? He doesn't want to take risks, because if you're playing someone like Thresh, you take risks. Every time you get a hook and you go in, you're taking a risk. So that is where I would start to translate their play style in terms of KDA. Now, that isn't always, the same exact thing, but it's a constant trend. It depends on the champion, pretty much, is the best way I can put it. Put all this stuff back up. Hopefully that answers that question. Good. Drink of water here. All right, Gino, what I can do is you can add me on Skype. My information, I'll put, I can PM it to you. And we can just talk about this, privately if you want to. We can just go over a lot of different scenarios and matchups and whatnot. And if you sign up for individual coaching, we can even talk further about it. So yeah, guys, there's no other questions, I believe. Not the time, but damn, you look good. Thank you. Well, I would like to say thanks. I'm currently climbing my way to some with your okay. Yeah, Snuggle, just sign up, man. I coach all roles. I've mained every role at some point, so I'm pretty knowledgeable in that fact. So if you want to, I've coached mid, I've coached top, I've coached jungle. Whatever you really want to learn, I'm willing to teach. Even if you want to just, like, I had one person who just wanted to learn lane matchups because they played Lux and they wanted to learn how to be more aggressive. So we've just played a couple, different lane matchups so they could learn that way. Or I had one guy who I recommended playing Volibear top, so we did a couple different, like, I played Garen, I played Pantheon, I played different top laners, so that he could get a feel of the champion in the lane matchups and when to aggress and when not to aggress. So that is, whatever you really want to learn is really what I'll teach.